Instagram be doing the most. Instagram be doing the most. So, new moon in true sidereal Cancer, right at the edge, at the cusp of Cancer, right as we go into Leo. But before we go into Leo, we address the drinking gourd or the Ursa Major. And the new moon is conjunct the Ursa Major, because if I can figure out how to spell that or see that, give me a second. And is it still doing that? This is some weird shit. You have the drinking gourd, and then like the handle, and then the actual tip. That big star that is the tip of Ursa Major is the fixed star that this new moon is taking place at. Very powerful when you think about it at an ancestral level, when it's leading to freedom. And what I really want to say is that you want to have an emotional frequency of freedom and not an emotional frequency of defeatism. At the beginning of this particular cycle, they have been perpetuating fear daily, right? Since the beginning, they have been perpetuating a particular fear. And so the message is clear. Don't allow an external fear integrate or infiltrate your internal structural understanding of positive energy. Especially as you go through a moon. This is a portal for your ancestors to really connect. And if you're afraid of what's happening on the 3D, you should have been afraid since March. Ain't nothing different between now and a year, 18 months ago. The same level of fear, the same overall message that something bad is going to happen to you. So let's understand that nothing bad can happen to us and fully understand a new moon in a new moon portal. Because when we internalize fear, it's just canceling the whole spiritual process. So that is the new moon from an astronomical perspective. Now let's look at it from the astrology, where it is in the third decan of Cancer. The third decan of Cancer deals with a thing that we like to call luxury. Now, luxury, if you look at these four chalices, it is from the top down, but if you can see the bottom, it is not flowing, right? The messaging in this card is saying that we understand luxury either from an elite, rich, impressive level, or we just don't understand it at all. So even more simpler, we understand wealth as a pituitary gland function, or we never understand wealth at all. So at a certain level, you have people working hard to get a financial amount of money, right? Are those people wealthy? Maybe they're wealthy, maybe they're not. But when it comes down to you, can you specifically say that dollar amount that's going to specifically be that generational wealth quota or that activity that's going to bring about it? Or do you just have to have an understanding of the everyday activity that's going to bring about a subsequent level of wealth? And a lot of times you get into like, all right, how do I become wealthy? And then you get these books and they say, wealthy people do these things, right? They wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning. They work out before they start working. They do this, they do that. They network, they reach out to people. So I'm saying that to say, if wealthy people have a wealthy habit, then that must mean that wealth is a pituitary gland function. That at a lower level, where you disconnect it from source, where you don't do no chakra work, you're just out here going to the club, going to the party, going to the concert, going to work, going to the gig, whatever the fuck you're doing. You don't care about nature. You don't really care about grounding. You really don't understand that the nature, the stars, the trees, the plants, the flowers are all you. That's some other shit. You got to get your money. You got to do this. No wealth for you. You cut off. But if you look at this card and understand that this card is the tree of life, it is the body, it's a symbolism. If you paste the tree of life on top of this card, you will see the diagram. But the moon, this is important information. I don't just talk about the moon because it's some interesting shit and I'm trying to get views. Everybody else will be like, oh, I'm about to do a video for the new moon because they want to trap your energy. I'm doing this video about the new moon before the new moon. Keep your third eye open when people say, hey, watch my video for the new moon. They want your energy, fam. And I'm not lying. They want your energy. Because your new moon is for you. That's your pituitary gland function. And the shit that y'all ancestors say, they be like, man, I got so much hot shit for her. I got so much hot shit for him. But they so worried about what you got going, hood. They so worried about what she got going on. They so worried about what he got going on. They'd never tune in and tap into their ancestors and get this pituitary gland functioning, get this crown chakra going. They too impatient with themselves. They don't want to connect. They don't want to ground. They don't want to tap in. They don't want to see all that everything is connected to them. They don't want to tap into the electromagnetic force and begin to be the power to their manifestation, the generator to their lives. They want to tune in and see what everybody else got going on. Did you hear about Future and Sierra and Russell Wilson? Everybody you talk to know everything about Beyonce and Jay-Z, but what about their relationship? They don't want to talk about that shit. Well, what about you and your boyfriend? Huh? What do that got to do with anything? We've been talking about Jay-Z and Beyonce for the past hour, sis. Let's talk about your relationship now. Huh? What do that got to do with anything? I don't need to talk about my shit. This is the game, man. Entertainment, media, all of this shit is to make you feel inferior and to keep you cut off from true luxury. Wealthy people habits must be a wealthy pituitary gland function, a master gland function that then indicates to all the other glands, the pineal and pituitary working in tandem to say, this person is attempting to become wealthy now. This person wants to have a healthy, fulfilling relationship now. Well, let's get to working then. If you feel like you got to sign up for a course, a lecture, and all of this shit to be what you're not, see, you can sign up for a course. It's like if you dealing with like Photoshop and you say, I'm dealing with Photoshop, but I want to learn more. You sign up for a Photoshop course. But if you ain't never had no wealth, if you ain't never had no money, or you have money and you blow it and you don't know what to do with money, and if they're not talking about how to manage your money, you would be like, well, how to get wealthy? Okay, if you know for a fact that if you get that wealth, you'll blow it, you'll get that, you won't protect it. So why you want something that you can't develop from the inside out? Because once you start understanding who you are at a biological level, fam, every human being at a biological level is a magical entity and a magical instrument, because there were millions of sperm that came out of your daddy's wee-wee, that only one of those sperms became a human being that you are today. So when Aaliyah says 1 in a million, that is no cap. Your existence is 1 in a million, but in reference to the high sperm cycle, in reference to the ovulation cycle, That had to be a serendipitous moment, a window of time that was only going to open up for a specific window for you to exist. And if everything didn't happen, if your dad didn't hit her with the swivel hips when they was dancing on the dance floor to some old goddamn Shalimar, if the DJ didn't play Shalimar that night, you might have asked, they've never been born. And you like, Hood, who the hell is Shalimar? Ask your mama and daddy who Shalimar is. I'm sure they asked to tell you. This is for the lover in you. Y'all don't know nothing about that. These new kids be making love to Future and wondering why they kids coming out gangbangers, but we'll deal with that at another conversation, y'all. So I want y'all to be specific in your ability to tune in and tap in to this new moon. And we're going to read, because this is to everybody that I know. If your law of attraction is what's in your room right now, and you should be frightened. You should be afraid that you attracted this bullshit in your life. You should be so ridiculous that you've expected this bullshit up to this point that you begin to change. And how do you begin to change? By understanding your emotions and your expectancy level and tying it and tapping it into your pituitary gland. And like, look, nigga. Look, sis. We are wealthy. We only doing wealthy shit from here on out. We only creating a wealthy reality. We only creating a loving, wealthy, prosperous reality. And if a person has something abstract to that, then that's just them. People make decisions to be poor every single day. You ain't never stood in front of a casino door and said, please don't go. Please don't go in this casino and waste all of your money playing blackjack. So when it comes to your personal situation, I really don't give a fuck, because I done created so many negative situations for myself and pulled myself out of it that I know you can too if you begin to pull and tug on your ancestors a little bit harder. Because you out here doing it alone and you're not fully understanding this Cancerian energy. You just thinking it's just you. I guarantee you set up an ancestor altar and you serious about that altar. You wake up, feed them. You go to sleep, feed them. And if they leave you out here for dead, that's just another story. But I'm saying if you out here not connecting to your ancestors, probably that's the reason why you out here left for dead. The mind is a powerful anticipatory device. It frequently makes predictions about the future, telling us not only how the world might or will be, but also should it be, or better, how we would like it to be. These experiences shape our lives. They impact on our actual outcomes, often acting as self-fulfilling prophecies. I ain't gonna find no man. I'm tired of being broke. I don't want to take this. I don't want to go this. NYC is shutting down. Oh my goodness. It's the energy. It's something bad is happening. Do y'all know that people been waiting for negative shit to happen to this world since I've been born? You know these bombs is going to come down. Nuclear. All of the countries hold nuclear bombs. And do you know how much the country spend on military and war this and war that and the mightiest military of all and all of this shit? And ain't nobody ever checked me and tried to squabble up with me. Nobody ever tried to fight you and none of this shit and all of this fear mongering. What does it essentially do? It disconnects you from your ancestors and it takes you out of the space of being able to fulfill your prophecies, because every time you turn on the TV, they're in there tinkering and making you think that something bad is going to happen. So when you self-fulfill, when you go through new moons, you're saying, well, I just hope that nothing bad happens. But the law of attraction is saying if you hope that nothing bad happens, then you feel that. You vibrate in your frequency. So what they don't tell you about the law of attraction, what I tell you about the law of attraction, is that you need to purge that crystallized fear that you've internalized. Because now every time you talk to people, you're not telling them the spiritual channel has got to filter through your fear. They also constitute as a reference point for establishing whether an outcome is a loss or a gain. The emotional expectancy. Sometimes you want love in your life, and you get a person that does not give you that version of love. It's like the opposite of that. And you're like, what the fuck? I wanted love and I got a person that's abusive. Well, if you didn't give up and you kept that love in your heart, you would meet somebody else. I guarantee you. And maybe that person is completely different. But if you tapped in and tuned in to what the dude previous before you did, then you're not seeing that person correctly, because your emotional expectations is based upon what has happened previously. That is your point of reference. And no matter who, so you see people go from this person to that person, from this person, be married, divorce, get into another relationship, break up with, you see it. But what you never see is the purging process. Did you clear that man or that woman out of your system to get rid of that reference point? Because you may judge your next relationship based on your previous relationship when these two dudes didn't even know each other. They got two different outcomes, but you can't see it clearly. So part of a new moon is a waning moon. The waning moon and the new moon, you want intentions and people want to talk about what a new moon is for, setting intentions, but don't talk to me about the new moon and setting intentions if you ain't tell me about the waning moon. Because here I am setting intentions to get over my ex, when I should have purged my ex, and maybe my intentions was to start a garden now. Why you starting a garden? Because I'm over my ex and I don't give a fuck no more. I'm just into sunflowering and shit now. This is who I was, and I never even seen who I was because I had to release that negative energy. So the most important part about a new moon is right now. Because yes, you can intentionalize. Yes, you can bring about things into your reality. But if you are too fucking butthurt over what some man or woman has done to you because of something that you wanted, you said, I wanted to experience love. Well, in order to experience love, you got to understand what love ain't. You wanted to experience wealth and you broke as hell. That's the first step. You got to understand all of the shit that you can do not to be wealthy to then make a decision to be wealthy. Because 10 times out of 10, when you give a person something, they don't appreciate it. This is just how human beings are. And we feel ill-treated, betrayed when our expectancies are disappointed. When in fact, you didn't do no clean work to expect that shit for it to be good. It's like, okay, car dirty as hell. Right? Car filthy. And I expect it to be clean. At a certain point, how can I clean my car if I do not remove the dirt that's in it or take the dirt off? So that's an easy analogy. To be clean is to remove the dirt. Now, when we talk about emotional expectancy in relationships and magic, y'all ain't did no steams. Y'all ain't did no purging of the gut, but yet and still you want more dirt, right? You want more dirt to come on top of some dirty shit. Now that's dirt on top of dirt on top of dirt. And this is what relationships look like in 2021, because nobody is speaking, everybody can tell you how to bring more shit into your life. It's rare that you hear a person saying, well, why don't you get rid of some of the shit that you've collected over the time? And maybe that'll help you in manifesting a true love. Once you've established what love isn't, then you get a clearer view of what love is. So once you do, I'm telling you the shit that I've done around the times that I've done it to bring about true love for me. This is no cap for me. I'm getting married today. Matter of fact. Been married, but I'm getting married again. On all cylinders. And this is the best thing ever. To attract and understand that, okay, I'm not perfect. I can't judge, but I can love. And it's been such a powerful journey to love somebody, to grow with somebody, and to commit first, and to understand the power of magic, the power of the mind, and understanding that if that's your wife or if that's your husband, tell them that, right? I feel like we married. I feel like you my husband. I feel like you my wife. I feel like we need to start planning together. I feel like we need to start doing this shit together. I don't see my life being without you. I'm giving you all of my energies, my innards. You taking all of my innards, might as well make the commitment. So, really quick. This new moon takes place at the Ashleisha Nakshatra. The symbol is a koyo. The symbol for Ashleisha is a koyo. This indicates the position of the fetus. The symbol for Pashaya is an arrow. The previous nakshatra is an arrow because the fetus was straight. At 8th weeks, the position of the fetus can be correlated to a koyo. Now, this is the fetus position. Now, this is specific to kundalini raising. If your kundalini has ever been activated and raised, you want to lay in a coiled fetus position. Because when your kundalini is raising, that's all that's happening. You got to call off work. You can't hang around your kids. You just lay in the bed. You're hot and cold at the same time. You're cold on the outside, so you put a blanket on you, but you're warm on the inside, and you just got to let your body activate. Your spiritual energy is now taking over. You are no longer a human. You have activated. This is that coil energy, the fetus position, and it's related to being connected to your mom as a baby. It's literally the fetus position. Meaning that this is the position that the fetus is in. So you're connecting to your mother maternal energy. Your mother is constantly feeding you, constantly giving you nutrients, blood, water, all of this. Your mother is feeding you. So in reference to you activating your spiritual energy, it is found in the fetus position, but you don't manipulate this. You manipulate it through raising kundalini, but when the kundalini rises, the next step is to go into this fetus position. The deity over the Ashleisha Nakshatra is the Sarpa, the serpent god, or the Naga. The deity of Ashleisha is Sarpa, or serpent god. The symbol is a coiled serpent. The serpent god has many forms, okay? It's many variations on the particular theme of Naga, or serpent god. The key themes for this time would be, so all of these words that are being laid is more or less of the process of ejaculating into a woman's womb in the process of it. It gets reduced down to that. So you might have been seduced at a bar. Long story short, you moving into a house with your wife and you like, wait a second, how did I get here? She had the plan the whole time. Or he had the plan the whole time. You ain't even know. They seen you and wanted to marry you or wanted to be in a relationship with you. That is highly manipulative. That is highly deceptive. But if you get married and you move into a house, ain't nobody gonna call you on that. So the deeper reality of love and life is, what is your foreknowledge? What does your psychic ability say about this relationship? Now, a lot of people say, I don't get into that. I don't do like candles for relationships and things of that nature. I only like candles for money. I only like candles, whatever the case may be. But in relation to relationships and partnerships, it's time to do magic and have a vision. One of the candles that I suggest in your local botanica is the Adam and Eve candle. This candle is so powerful in bringing about love energy in your life, or restoring love energy within yourself and being the magnet to your divine partner. For a new moon, if you clean the house, clean your area, organize some shit. We about to go. Organize some shit. The next step is you are creating the space for your partner. And I know a lot of y'all want that. Spirit say, if you fucking somebody that you don't want to have a long-term relationship with, stop fucking them. If you fucking somebody and they don't know you want to have a long-term relationship with them, it's time to let them know. And if you ain't got nobody, you've been waiting on somebody, you want somebody, this is the time. Get this candle, light it, dress it, get it for the new moon, let it burn out, let it do what it do, let your ancestors do what it do. Understand that you have more control over your relationship than you actually know. And this is just shit that I'm telling y'all of shit that I just know for myself. Get the candle and let it work. And a person be like, well, I don't like that candle. I make my own candles. Shit, make your own candle. Get a white candle. Don't get an Adam and Eve's candle. Don't burn no candles at all. But don't ask me what works for me. I'm just letting you know what works for me. Clean the fuck up. Clear everything out. You got old relationship shit, like pictures of your ex, photos in your phone of his dick, her pussy in your phone. Delete that shit. You ain't about to be with them folks. Get them folks out of your energy vortex if you don't want to be with them. Do not be crying over somebody that you will not have a long-term relationship with in reference to a person that wants to have a long-term relationship. Do the work of clearing. Everybody can manifest instantly if they would just release the energy of the people who do not serve them. Pituitary function. And this is, well, I'll save that slide for the last. And trust me, this article is being scrubbed off the internet, y'all. I couldn't even find this article. I could just only find the Google, like the highlights of it. When I clicked the link, it wasn't even there no more. But what it says is, exposure to experimental new moon conditions caused a significant increase to melatonin levels, so when you do spells and you do rituals, you want to be dead ass serious about them. You want to say, I want to attract a partner in my life. Fuck this shit. And if your spirit show you a person that's in a relationship, open your mind to polygamy. Guys, I don't know. If your ancestors showing you a person in a relationship, either you wait it out or you step into it. Hey, what's up? Y'all get into polygamy at all? Oh, y'all don't? I was just asking. Shit, I don't know. I'm just asking a question. Shit, don't be mad at me. You got to trust this process. You got to understand that when a new moon occurs, it don't matter what sign it's in, just a new moon, your brain is operating and functioning different. And so a person that's going to be like, all right, I'm going to drop a video on a new moon. They like, I'm about to take this energy from these motherfuckers. They don't even know that they got it. I'm going to just drop a whole bunch of rhetoric, a whole bunch of bullshit in their ears. And for that, they'll give me their energy and I can continue moving forward. Because a lot of people is parasitic and vampiric. They don't want to share information that you can reference and Google yourself or understand for yourself. Do your own research on how the new moon affects on your melatonin, in your pineal gland, in your pituitary function, and it assists in your circadian rhythm and how setting intentions. Or do your own research on how planting a seed during the new moon. During the new moon is the most fertile time to plant a seed, because the Earth's energy is the Earth's energy, and you are a part of the Earth's energy. Circadian rhythms are the rhythms of life. But when you take yourself out of those rhythms, when you say, well, I can't manifest nothing, why do you think that? I can't focus on the reality and bring it about for myself. You got to be rich to do that. No, you just got to purge to do that. You just got to let go of all of the fetus inferior mindsets that you've absorbed over these past years of going to fucking public school. You got to let that shit go. You are a god. You are a naga. You are a coiled serpent. You are your ancestors' fucking wet dream. Your ancestors are so proud of you, man. So proud. And you not even connected because of who you think you supposed to be. You're supposed to be a slave. You're supposed to be a nigga. You're supposed to be low income. You're supposed to be a single mom. All of this shit is what people are telling you. When you do your meditations and you tune and tap into higher frequencies, what do you find? Serpents, gods, higher cosmological understandings that'll blow a motherfucker's mind. I say you begin to start swiveling your hips and tuning in to the circadian rhythms of the universe, you will have these fucking demons explode on sight. Imagine y'all stopped twerking and got into your yoginis, right? That spiritual dancing and things of that nature, and begin to bring about the kundalini rising of the world through your movement. Not through your lust and not through your need for money, but for your need for spiritual power and spiritual energy. What if you didn't dance for OnlyFans, but you danced for raising the frequency of the kundalini of the population? What if you danced as a war? What if it was a fight? What if it was an act of aggression? Imagine your warriors in front with the machetes and the yoginis in the back with their war. So what is Kung Fu? It's Kung Fu. Kung Fu is how to fight, but it's also a dance. It's an elaborate dance, but it's a war-like way. So when we talk about twerking and all of this particular shit, yeah, you could get your coins, but you can also ignite a spiritual war. You could also bring about prosperity for your generations to come, because you understand that your electrical magnetic energy is that powerful. The problem with my people is that we don't tune in to the new moons and take them as seriously as we need to. We take these new moons and we absorb the mind control that is being put. And then the spiritual people who don't understand the mechanics of spirituality, because spirituality is not random oracle. It's a mathematical function and setups of ways of how things are going to be. It's a set of probability. It's probability magic. Meaning that I might do a love ritual and I set the probability to bring about love in my life. Now to the observer, or if it's different ways that you can be like, well, I don't really think I deserve love. And you might not get no love. But for a large percentage of people who light the candle and utilize this new moon energy, like, fuck that. I want a loving fucking relationship in my life. Fuck that. I'm calling on my ancestors. I'm lighting these fucking candles, hood. Fuck that. This shit about to work. This shit about to fucking pop. I don't give a fuck. I'm fucking magic. Do you know, out of a fucking million sperm cells, my ass was the one that said, fuck all y'all. I ain't dying tonight. I'ma incarnate in this bitch. Fuck that. And the egg cell was like, look at this motherfucker right here. This motherfucker think he's something. He can come in. Allow me to enter into that womb. Allow me to manifest into this life to fast forward 36 years. Now I'm kicking hot shit on IG Live. Ain't that amazing? And y'all here to witness that shit. That's even more amazing. That we could go from fucking little baby serpent is a sperm cell. It look like a little baby snake. And we never lose that serpentine energy. It calcifies into a spine and a brain. So that sperm cell is still us. It's our brain and our spine. But our brain and our spine is so fucking smart that it creates a whole body and a whole system around it to protect the spine and the brain. Some amazing magical shit taking place just in your birth. And I'm going to finish right here. The Earth's magnetic field, also known as the geomagnetic field, is the magnetic field that extends from the Earth's interior out into space, where it interacts with the solar wind, a stream of changed particles emanating from the sun. And I say that to say you are a part of that. When you tune in to your internal electromagnetic force and you come outside and you begin to co-create with this sun energy, the sun energy is saying, I'll do whatever the fuck you want to do. And you say, you know what? I'm gonna grow some goddamn cabbage. The sun be like, here, nigga, here goes some cabbage. I don't care. Take it. Another person say, you know what? I'm going to grow some tomatoes. The sun like, shit, tomatoes it is. What kind? Green fried? What you want to do? Red? Toma? What the fuck? I'm just here providing the energy. And if you say, well, Hood, I hear what you're saying, but I'm cut off from the sun. When I walk outside, the sun ain't fucking with me, Hood. The solar winds ain't fucking with me, Hood. My law of attraction ain't fucking with me. I say, damn, I don't know what to tell you then, big homie. Because I'm just a regular person like anybody else. But this internal work and combining with bringing forth what you find on the internal and not giving a fuck what nobody say. Not giving a fuck how many times Instagram cut off my video. How many times I'm shadow banned. All of that. I just know to be persistent with my internal expression. And it brings about an alignment with the Earth's magnetic field. Meaning that the things that you wish to attract to your life is based upon your ability to tune and find that within yourself. And if you tune in and tap into yourself and you're like stressed out and you're not clear and you're got doubt and you don't find the love of your ancestors when you look within. It's time to purge that fucking gut. It's time to purge that mind. Stop listening to that music. Stop watching them fucking movies. Stop eating that fucking food. Go on a fast for these next 3 days into the new moon. Let all of the bullshit go. If you don't look within yourself and find the love of your ancestors, there's too much bullshit in the way, fam. I don't give a fuck about the Dipset versus the Locks, fam. Cause soon that was a whole ritual. Cause the next day they do the fucking mandates. I don't give a... If you was melanated and you tuned in and tapped into that, do you know the dips? Like, all of that shit is nasty energy, because you have millions of black people being murdered and incarcerated, sent to jail. After Rockefeller, it was Dipset, right? And you feel like, okay, these are just black men making music. Not when the music was specific school age boys. You know, boys, we don't have that thug initiative within ourselves. It's worked through our music. And we listen to the music and we meditate on the music. Shoot that motherfucker. Pimp on a bitch. Da-da-da-da-da. If you ain't got no money, you ain't shit. Da-da-da-da-da. I'm about my money. I'm gonna get rich or die trying. Da-da-da-da-da. Meditating on that shit. So much so, we can't even separate ourselves from the fucking destruction. And then they'll do a destruction ritual, and every melanated people will be like, oh my goodness. And the memes will start coming, and we'll start talking about it. And then the day after, they'll do a mandate, and niggas act like we did not create it. Because we cannot reject the media. We cannot reject, and they pulling out old people from 2000s that y'all don't even care about. They be pulling out the Isley Brothers and the Temptations and shit for verses, oppositional energy, rituals, spells, high level sorcery, keeping us at odds. Locks. What are locks? Warlocks. What are diplomats? Diplomats are entities that don't really exist within that world that they live in, but they're able to travel from place to place, and it's a diplomatic immunity. That was their first CD, and probably their only CD. And these record labels and record groups are bankrolled by some of the most... That's what's... Okay, so I'm going to do this quick channel, and then I'm gonna leave it alone. So, comic book heroes, superheroes, and stuff like that. Everybody talk about Loki and the Marvel Cinematic Universe and all of that. All of those type of energies are copies and remakes of earlier energies. And if you start, they're called pulp figures. P-U-L-P. So Superman, it was another person named Clark. Like, Superman ain't an original idea. Batman's not an original idea. X-Men, all of these entities and energies aren't original to the comics. Like Marvel and DC are all frauds. You can Google who is X-Men based off of? Who is Superman based off of? Superman is based off the Man of Bronze. The Man of Bronze. That's Superman. Batman is the Shadow. So without the Shadow, you don't get Batman. The Batman is the Shadow. So Google The Shadow. I got the comic book in the crib. The Shadow. It's a pulp magazine. Now, it's an analogy to that in reference to the rappers. Now, the rappers, or the hip-hop, or the MCs, or the battlers are our gods, are our superheroes. Even deeper, the Locks, Dipset, somebody else, state property, that means that you are property of the fucking state. Means that you don't have any rights. That's the name of the rap group. Diplomatic immunity means that these higher elites travel from country to country and fuck shit up, and we never have an understanding of who and exactly who they are, because they have immunity and they're diplomats. They do not reside in our world. They're diplomats. Locks, of course, they were first the warlocks. A warlock is just a high-level magician putting shit down. All of these acts, less for the warlocks, they were signed to Bad Boy, P. Diddy. But diplomats and state property were signed to Rockefeller. Now, Rockefeller is the onset of education, the onset of medical, and all of this. And even more so, all of these rappers were signed to distribution deals with the same entities like the upper elites. Meaning that if they don't have this backing, you don't never get to hear of Dipset, the Warlocks, or State Property, Beanie Siegel, a Cameron, a Jadakiss. If these dudes, now how many dudes you know rapping on the streets right now, rapping on the corner, rapping on their basement, putting out mixtapes? That shit fire too. You don't know these people. You need backing, right? And when you get backing, they're gonna tell you, any rapper will tell you, I was murdered. P. Diddy named me pretty. They get names. And I know you think, well, they creative, they come up with this stuff. Maybe at a certain level, yeah, but then at a certain level, it's all sinister. And what melanated people got to begin to do is look past the melanin and see what the messaging is. If y'all gonna sit up for 2 hours and watch people rap lyrics in reference to murder, death, and carnage, if in our community, and in reality, murder, death, and carnage is taking place in our community, and we're just observing it at this point. My thing is, since I know it is existing, I know what it is, I'm not going to watch none of that shit. Because I know what time it is. I can't change it. I can't remove it. But when it comes to my electromagnetic field and the things that I'm observing, I will not observe and I will not take part in public rituals. Especially during new moon times and new moon transits. So purge of all of that shit. Let all of that shit go. Be a co-creator with the universe and bring about some shit for you. Think about the shit that you want. Think about the shit that you need. Stop thinking about if they win this battle, if this get passed, if the laws and all of this shit happening outside of you is throwing off your electromagnetic field if it's not doing anything else. And real quick, it's hard to manifest a relationship when you are external in this game. Oshun is offering a lot of power and a lot of grace and a lot of healing, but she's serious about her rituals. She's serious about her rituals. Because the internal work that Oshun is trying to do with us, it's available for everybody. But she's serious about her rituals. And if you serious about your Oshun rituals, guy or girl, not just for ladies, guy or girl, if you serious about your honey rituals, if you serious about your baths, if you serious about your magnetic field, Oshun is available for you. But you got to be serious about your rituals. And if you're serious about your rituals, you don't have to worry about the relationship. Because you are the magnet. You just working on your magnetic work at this point. You working on your honey work. You working on your queen bee work. You understand that all of this shit is for you. And the more you elevate, the more the world get crazier. And if you were to not elevate, the world be perfectly fine. The moment you start taking your spirituality serious, you start seeing cracks in the matrix. My thing is, let them all crack up. Because when it all cracks up, when it's all done, and when we all see what's left, it's going to be you, it's going to be me, and it's going to be these ancestors like I told you. We told you was the magnet to your desires. We told you that you was the top of the food chain. We told you that the first shall be last and the last shall be first. We told you that the sun is out here to wreck shop on people. And that's why people is in the house, because they afraid of the sun. But your ass needs to get up out there and absorb that energy and transform through the sun. Tune in and tap into this sunflower portal. Fuck a Lionsgate portal. This is a sunflower portal. That's my word. But it's hard to manifest a relationship until you tap into Oshun. It's hard to manifest if you a woman and you deal with all type, like you deal with a relationship based upon what you think and based upon what you do and who you attract and all of this shit. Oshun said, fuck all of that. You gotta be so tuned in and tapped into your beauty that it consumes you, that it takes you over, that your rituals move you outside of yourself, that you become the most beautiful, powerful, magnetic force in the world. We started this spiritual journey with the deeper understanding that the black woman is God. And as the days go on and on and on, we realize that even more so, the black woman is the true and living God. And the more that you honor her, not requiring somebody outside of you to honor you, but the more that black women honor the Oshun within themselves, oh, this shit is over. We don't need to be loved by nobody else. We need to begin to love ourselves. And trust me, Oshun and this divine feminine energy is so transformative that once you come out of it, the relationship is going to be the most simplest thing you ever did. So it's hard when you're not tapped in and tuned in to your divine feminine beauty. And it should be.
She coming to say hi to you too.
The vulture. Oshun Igbo Kule. I would show you, but she too high up in the air. And so for me, I'm always protected by Oshun Igbo Kule. If you see a black vulture in the sky, that's Oshun saying, look, nigga, I got you. Fear not. Fear not. And no matter what situation your ancestors been in, they always knew spiritual work. So if shit get crazy, if shit get tense, that's more of an indication to do some spiritual shit. Oh, it's two of them. I'll see if y'all can see the vulture. As far. But yes, man. New moon, very powerful energy. Rappers, yes. Everything is to disrupt and to destroy and disconnect us from our divine feminine beauty. And the reality is that we can do so much by restoring the black family and the black community by just loving one another. And it's not no big deal of starting a petition or starting a group or no crazy shit like that, but just love on your baby mama. Love on your baby daddy. You loved on them before. You loved on them before. Love on them again. So shout out to the Oshuns out there. Maybe this is a better view. Yeah, there. Or, hold on. I had her. She keep disappearing. She don't want to be seen. She was super low. So I will see y'all on the flip side. I'm about to recalibrate, man. See what's happening next. I know I got some classes update. I need to answer some emails and stuff like that. But yeah, just wanted to get that message off. So